Welcome back, everyone, to Taste of the Tavern. This is your host, Gonzodius, and today we are doing something very, very special and very homey, a Hobbiton Roast. Now, this recipe is famous for being served at the Green Hill Inn, which is in the Shire, the Hobbit Shire, which is sort of like this cottage, sort of, you can stay there, but you can eat there too. It's a famous ale house. And whenever I had this, I knew I had to get the recipe from Mr. Butterman, as he likes to call himself. And fittingly, this recipe starts with 2 sticks of unsalted butter. What we're going to do is I have a beautiful pork shoulder roast. This can also be done with a lamb leg. I couldn't find one in time before I had to make this video, so we're working with the pork. 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And in, we're going to put a tablespoon of fresh chopped sage, a tablespoon of fresh picked thyme, and I needed fresh rosemary, and short notice, I couldn't find it. So I'm using dried. Just know that you need to use less if you're going to use dried because it's a more potent flavor. Then we're gonna add in 4 cloves worth of minced garlic, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and a tablespoon of raw honey. Or whatever honey you happen to have. I know it's not accessible to every single person. And to finish off our blend, just a pinch of pepper. Always season it into your hand and sprinkle it in so you know how much you're actually putting in. So many people just like pour in salt and they have no idea how much is going into what they're cooking with. About enough to fill the center of your palm is all you ever really need. And then now with all these ingredients together, we're going to combine them and sort of stir them and till it's sort of like an evenly well mixed paste with the butter and all the different spices and herbs and aromatics together. Now, if this seems like a lot, you're right. We're not using all of this at once. We're gonna put about half of it on the pork shoulder at the beginning, and halfway through the bake, we're going to put the rest on. It's going to be really, really nice. So, we're gonna go ahead and do that. I have my roasting pan over here. Bring this over. Now I'm just going to get my mittens into this because if you're not getting dirty while you're cooking, you're not really cooking. Gonna take this. Now, if you're worried about this smoking, I'm a little bit worried too. So we'll find that out together. If, oh my goodness. It's another sticky sensation. But cooking is getting sticky. I signed up for this. All over. I'm gonna flip this bad boy over and put it into the center of the pan. Oh, man, that's gonna be good. Man, this makes me want to get by the fire. What I love about these style of roasts is they can feed all of your friends. They are cozy, warm. get you ready for a long journey on your own, potentially, perhaps an unexpected one. And, well, there's nothing unexpected about having to make this. It's very involved. But what it isn't is hard. Anyone can cook. They just have to dedicate the time and not lose their cool whenever things start getting a little bit difficult. So, is at this point, the butter's all over my fingers and things. Oh, yeah. We're gonna preheat our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or if I can check the Celsius, hold on. That didn't help. Can you pause? So we're gonna preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or 190 degrees Celsius for you Euro people. And next we'll be doing the roast vegetables. Okay. So for the vegetables, you need to get 3 decent sized carrots, or like 5 little ones like what I had to work with. 1 large onion, about 2 cups worth of parsnip, and 8 medium sized red potatoes. So if you want to come in closely here, you cut the onion into 4 pieces and everything else sort of into rough chunks. Now, some people want to peel their carrots and parsnips and all that. You don't actually need to do that. That's more for like texture for some people. That doesn't bother me one bit. I'm a rustic tavern cook. I don't have time to peel every single thing unless if I absolutely need to. So, all I did here was take all of those chunks of vegetables, toss them in olive oil, and add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these over and put them in and around our pork roast. This is going to help flavor the roast, and these vegetables are going to be delicious when everything is said and done. Now our oven is still preheating, but once it's ready, we will put this in, and we're going to bake this for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on how it's looking. If it starts to burn, we're gonna put some not olive oil, we're gonna put some tin foil over the top to prevent burning. It does actually work. So we will meet you when we're putting this in the oven. So the oven just told me it was preheated and ready to go. In the meantime, I took the rest of our butter and I went ahead and melted it so that every 20-minute interval while we're baking for that 1.5 to 2 hours, we're going to be putting some more butter over the top, maybe a little bit on the vegetables too. So into the oven we go with the roasting pan. Be very careful not to burn yourself, as I have done many times. And we will see you whenever we do the first baste. So now that the roast has gotten about halfway through its cook, I'm going to take it out and we're going to put some butter on it. I wish I would pause this timer. All is well. Alright. But look, even halfway through, how good this looks.
Ooh, listen to that. It smells so good.
We're gonna take the rest of our butter and our spices and other things, pour it over the top. I'm also gonna get some on the vegetables around it. My goodness. We're gonna finish off the rest of the bake, and I will cut back whenever everything's done. Okay. Into the oven it goes. Sweetie, you need to not get burnt now. All right, y'all. I'm excited. Aren't you? And it is time to check the internal temperature of our roast. It needs to be, for a pork roast, 145 degrees Fahrenheit internally, or 145 internally for pork, 135 for lamb. And listen to that sing. Okay. I've got my fancy pantsy thermo here. Let's see. I'm gonna try to put it into the thickest portion of the roast.
Without hitting a bone.
Without hitting a bone. And this needs a little bit more time, I think. Just a little bit. 135. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this in for another 10 minutes, and then we'll check it again. I'll cut back to you when it's ready. So it just seemed like it finished up. Let's get over here. In the interim, we put some foil over the top to keep them over browning, just like I said to do earlier. And you can just hear that dough coming along. Well, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So,
You're gorgeous.
what? No. Have our thermometer here, putting it into the thickest part. Let's see here. Let me check another spot. Oh yeah, it's ready. Oh man. So at this point, we're going to take the roast off of here, and we're going to take the bottom and we're going to use it to make some gravy to put over our fantastic roast here. So now that we've taken the roast and the vegetables out of the pan, it is at this point that we're going to be making a little bit of our gravy. Now, see, look at the inside here of this pan now. It has all these great bits here, all of this great flavor that is going to be lost on us if we were just to throw this out. So we're going to deglaze with about 2 cups worth of this chicken broth. I'm just going to blind pour it. Here. Looking really, really nice there. Maybe a little bit, just a bit more, because we want that to be plenty. We're going to add 3 tablespoons worth of flour and a pinch evenly of salt and pepper. I'm gonna warn y'all now, I don't make low sodium recipes. This is meant to be eaten by an entire group of people. If you ate this yourself, you'd have a sodium-induced coma. So, now we're gonna carry this over to the stove top and start cooking this up. Carrying this over. We are going to mix this up, sweetie. Oh. Turning on to medium heat. Not too high, not too low. Get a trusty spatula. We're going to make sure that all these elements are mixing together. Here, I'm going to use a cloth. I'm going to be extra careful not to burn myself. Here to make sure you're scraping up all of this great stuff that's in the bottom here. As much as you can, and if there's a little bit of bits of carrot and other things, that's fine. Again, I make rustic dishes. I'm gonna let this look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is gonna make a beautiful dark gravy. And if you are wanting to thicken this up any, go ahead and add a bit more flour. But know that this won't need much more in the terms of seasoning. But I'm basically going to just get this to a little bit of a simmer. But don't rush it. Trying to rush a roast or a gravy is a bit like trying to win a drinking a drinking contest with a troll. I've been drinking. Which is in and of itself bad for both parties. Though I did hear a story once of how someone survived getting eaten by a troll by challenging them to a drinking contest. And they kept him drinking until the morning arrived and he turned to stone. So, if you have the heart for it, maybe that's a good idea. So, I'm gonna make sure this keeps moving. See how it's bubbling up and darkening and getting thicker? You gotta keep this moving. Look at that. That darkened really quick.
Looks pretty to me.
That looks great. Yeah. Maybe you'd want to, because I see a little bit of a slick here from the oil and the fat from the roast. Maybe if you were a little smarter than me, you'd want to take some of that fat out before you start the gravy. But I think this will be just fine the way it is. And we're going to transfer this gravy here over to a serving platter, a serving sort of pouring device, little mini pitcher. What's the word for that?
Gravy boat?
Gravy boat.
I don't have a gravy boat.
You're shitting me. In that case, I'll just use what I have. Let's get this done.
Go.
So make an effort to be very careful here. I might need to do a bit more scraping. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna get that spatula and scrape it a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna get a spoon and probably take a little bit of that fat out of the top of the gravy. Because that's what the clear bit there is. Let's just drip off, and you don't want to waste any of this good brown stuff. Wait till next week, we'll have even more good brown stuff. Because I believe we're going to make an ale stew, which is going to be really, really good.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. I know it's amazing. Look at that. And if you look closer here, you see how there's this like clear bit? Yeah, that's a little fatty. So I'm going to take a spoon here. Bring this over and take some of this out.
No, Bo.
We don't have to film through this entire part. It's gonna take me a second.
Or
There's a lot of oil. Oh my goodness. This feels a little bit like a waste, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, it's a sweet baby. So, I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but this is going to look really nice, so I'm going to do it. We're gonna pour the gravy over the top. Normally you do this to serve per person, But man, look at that.
It looks yummy.
Get some of it on those vegetables as well. Man, oh man, that looks nice.
Delicious.
And there you have your Hobbiton Roast. Now, it is a tradition at my tavern that the first person to carve into your Hobbiton Roast, it's kind of an honor, but it's also a little bit of a trap, because if they carve too large of a piece off for themselves, they get pelted with hard bread rolls, and that means you need to get out of Dodge. So we're gonna get into this here in a second, after this is cooled just a little bit.